Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my fifth degree page. I'm fifth degree, but you could call me fifth or my light work ain't light work page, right, on YouTube. Okay, so I'm hoping everybody is doing okay. Hoping everybody's doing okay. Hoping everybody's doing well. Um, the reading that we have, right? I'm gonna do things a little bit differently today. So I'm gonna just kick into it. You can do with it whatever you will, but you would need to. But this is a past reading, past, right? I'm not gonna waste too much time. You should already know what's going on out in the atmosphere. If you do not, please check your calendars and all that other good stuff. Okay, so it's that. So this information is going to be pertaining to the past, some of the wisdoms it is that would have come out of it, what would be clearing out, some of the angelic guidance. It's gonna be a lot of stuff that's associated with this particular reading. So this is all past stuff, right? To break things down a little bit further to and for you all. Alright? Alright. Of course, not all readings are going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's okay. That simply means that this reading isn't for you. Alright? And if it don't fit, don't force it. If it don't fit, don't force it. Alright? If it does fit, you can't ignore it. Alright? Alright. So a lot of this stuff is going to be past shit. We going down a rabbit hole. I got my Alice in Wonderland deck out. So we can go down the rabbit hole, y'all. Alright? Alright. Some of the stuff that is kind of coming to me is this is going to be stemming from one of the old readings or old live it was that I did. Because that's kind of what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, right? And so what I'm getting from it is that it will be talking about a few different situations, few different things it is that would have been going on, about reaping harvest and the phrase slash scripture with God preparing a table in the midst of thine enemies, right? Because what was going on in that particular reading, right? It wasn't intentional for things to happen in the way that it did, but I had received a few packages in that reading. So a lot of it is in regards to different messages that should have been gathered from what it was that was going on in that reading, in addition to what it was that the message involved. Now, if you took pictures, okay, some of it's gonna be about pictures, but if you took notes on that particular reading, I remember I was wearing a black shirt, and I've since deleted that particular reading for good reason, for good reason, primarily because of the protective measures that came into place for me with people being not only about the toxicity, but using me in that regard to get a leg up on what would constitute as a competition. However, I wasn't allowed to participate later on down the line. So somebody must be utilizing that information, or utilized the information for one reason or another. Because that's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. So it must be somebody who knows me. It's kind of what I'm getting from it. yeah, who know me, who knows I'm a reader, who knows exactly what it is that I do in regards to it. But this is going to be down the rabbit hole, some different situations that would have taken place. Now, this is going to be, you need to really examine yourself in regards to this. I always say that during my readings. Before you look to someone else, you need to pay attention to what goes on in regards to you as an individual, right? You need to know your own placements in zodiac, uh, in planetary alignment. Places and zodiac and planetary alignment. And in some instances, in regards to the house. Okay? Alright. So, of course, like I said, not all readings are going to resonate with everyone. It's not going to resonate with you if you don't know that particular information about yourself, because you're doing the self-exploration portion and how it would relate to someone outside of you. One of the things that typically comes into place is how people are merely reflections of who you are, right? As they would have manifested outside of you. Okay, I got a few cards that flew out. Okay, that card went all the way over there and it's face down. In short, how it will be some stuff that you got to dig deep and put a little bit of effort into to uncover. Okay, in regards to the community and the truth. Within there being this King of Pentacles, right? King of Pentacles essence, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, typically one who's financially stable. We always talk about financial stability, but we also need to explore the whole aspect of, okay, so this is really calling out to me right now with this King of Oysters. He's standing outside, right? He's standing outside, and it looks like what would be like a greenhouse. And then I'm hearing That Shit Belongs to Me by Brandy and Monica. It came out around the time that Whitney Houston had passed away. So gossip, some of the anxiety that comes into place with the community's truth. Down the rabbit hole. Oh, this is with Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn essence. And what will constitute a person as the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is so much more, right? And the past aspect, we always looked at it as the Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But King of Pentacles is realistically someone who's financially stable, someone who would be, for lack of a better phrasing, solid. And the song it was that I was hearing was That Belongs to Me, Brandy and Monica. It was the underlying portion of it is it came out around the time that Whitney Houston had passed away, right? And it was talking about all these. If you would have been enlightened, right, it would have been talking about how one would have been cutting ties, right, with the music industry, cutting ties with Whitney Houston and a whole bunch of other shit that was going on. And even in regards to the other portion of it that brought about enlightenment was that there was a note that was passed to Brandy right around the same time as her. And the irony that came into place was that it was stated that Bobby Christina was supposed to be Clive Davis's goddaughter or some shit like that. So all of this is I don't know what part it is at this place, but I'm thinking that it's relevant in regards to what constitutes as a sacrifice and how a person would feel that they could make more money off of you if you're dead than if you're alive. Now, some of that would be the slang terminology of dead ass. Saying the words dead ass, like when you dead ass serious about something. Okay, now in the past, right? Mind you, this is all past shit, okay? It would have been about the gossip, anxiety, and all this that would have came or gone on outside of the community. And the truth it is that would have been presented. represented. Flamingos represent the swords, right? And with the sword and the flamingo's relevance would be that a flamingo, it bends its knees differently, but it still stands upright. It'll be about the stance that one would have taken in regards to responding to anxiety, gossip, abortion, miscarriages, and one having to travel outside of the community, that being part of the truth of it, and the anxiety that would come within one being, I'm hearing exile from the community. Huh. And how one, that's the, okay, so in one of the readings I've done more up to date, not with sure which page it's on, you're going to have to do that to figure out, right, what is and what isn't. It was talking about what goes on in exile. And when a person is exiled and the prodigal son and prodigal daughter, there's a different, the prodigal son speak or speech or parable, right? And the prodigal son, he leaves. He's not exiled. There's a difference. There's a difference. When a person is put in exile, that means nobody wants anything to do with them. Okay? At the heart of it. So this is in the past portion. Huh. And when I lift this up, okay, the first card would be down a rabbit hole. It would have been some shit being incomplete, some cycles being incomplete, and it not being the world. And what it is when Earth goes retrograde, but we don't necessarily notice it or pay it any attention. And what I'm getting from it is with the wisdoms portion and seeing a spider come out, some of this other portion of it is going to be about the different creative projects that would have come into place with things. And the web, what a tangle is, what a tangle web we weave when we intend to deceive. That's that part. And within it being an incomplete cycle with this Queen of Pentacles, a Queen of Oysters. The irony that comes into place with down a rabbit hole, oysters are an aphrodisiac. So it's intended to incite sexual arousal. Part one. Part two is the sexual arousal, but it'll be if it's wanted or not. And how one invokes passion. How one invokes one's passion. And the irony that comes into place with that, with it being all this stuff backing the King of Pentacles, and at the very end of it, the cycle being incomplete with the Queen of Pentacles. Again, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Typically, this King of Oysters, right, is different for everyone. It's going to be different for everybody. So I don't put a particular one on it. But it's King of Oysters, Queen of Oysters, right? Okay, I just heard how one would get it wrong just to incite rage. Yeah. In short, making some shit look like it's not. Now, this is down the rabbit hole. Okay? Down a rabbit hole. In short, how one would have the past thinking. Some of the cards that wanted to come out, right, when I was going through my decks, was how it was supposed to be about love and romance and all this other stuff. But in the whole twin flame aspect, if you were able to really pay attention, there was a lot of commercialism involved and there was a lot of societal shit that was happening. So paying that some attention in addition to that. And why it is that the cycle wouldn't be completed in a particular situation. Uh, in varying situations. And the irony that comes into place with it is when you lift it up, you see that it's just one card. It's like all this stuff behind the King of Pentacles, right? That's stacked up behind the King of Pentacles, and then the cycle is still incomplete, and then it's the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know why that is something that is so important in this moment, but referring back to that particular reading it was that I did. In that regard, it wasn't the king. In short, when the King of Pentacles is a queen, is a woman, or when the Queen of Pentacles is a man. So when they try and switch sides, okay, that's giving trading places with Usher and the influence of friendship. Okay, within the discussions that come into place outside of the community, and there being an influence of friendship and the offering of a little small offering of intimacy. I'm hearing something about tokens of affection. Tokens of affection. Okay. And within the truth of there not being a passionate new beginning and one not being a spiritual connection. Huh. And the anxiety that comes into place with burning four candles, and that would be the truth. And then there will be a candle burnt for one not being a spiritual connection, and there being a reconciliation. So ultimately, what it boils down to, no, not being children. How a person wouldn't be a child. Wheel of Fortune reverse. Huh. How a person only want to make something fit when it's relevant or when they can gain from it. Wheel of Fortune reverse down the rabbit hole. One being misfortunate in regards to the influence of this devil essence, Capricorn, karma, obsessions, structures. Pay attention to the structures. How was it things would have been structured. That's in the past. How it was structured, how it was outlined. When you're dealing with a person who the misfortune that comes when a person has certain ambitions. Okay, I'm finna go to the wisdoms deck. Okay, and then I'm shifting over to the Kipper deck. So the wisdoms or intelligence that would have come into place with it. One not having, one not it not being about love or creative action. Overall essence of birth and rebirth. What it is to be reborn. Okay, since we're talking about this, since we brought in scripture, let me go ahead and say this. When you are reborn, you are not, you typically, the process that comes into place with her, something about being reborn in fire. Okay, if you would have gone through the ritual of baptism, right? You leave all that old stuff behind. You realistically just supposed to learn from those experiences. You don't have to repeat them. Part one. Part two. You're supposed to be able to study and gain clarity and understanding of varying religions. Meaning, before you get baptized, if you don't have an understanding of anything, that's like the permission, right, to start studying and gaining clarity of things on your own. Part one. Part two. Even if you baptized by fire, whether you baptized in fire, baptized in water, baptized in earth, however it is, yeah, because I know a lot of different ceremonies require for there to be like this rebirthing aspect that comes into place. Now, that rebirth and things of that nature, it has nothing to do with love or creativity. It's all about, I'm hearing institutionalization, and institutionalization realistically happens in a lot of different areas and different places and different spaces. That's that part. The other portion that comes into place with this, right? I heard something about the alchemicalization of it. It'll be about the incoming love of one's creative action and optimism. Okay, so y'all know I'm not gonna fly by this whole wheel of fortune, the incoming fortune and influence of obsessions, whatever, what have you, right? So y'all know I'm not gonna fly by the mutable madness that comes into place with Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, right? And I said that like that because we're in a Pisces aspect. So within the knowing of what will be going on, you have to be wise about the decisions it is that you make. Okay, so that's it. The other portion of it, right? Yeah, because one not having creative action or optimism and not taking the steps for love. That's it at first glance. That's what's down the rabbit hole. Okay, this is past you all. I do need to remind you all that this is past. This is going down a rabbit hole or some shit. Okay? Outside of the community. Not loving anybody outside of their community. Or outside of, yeah, what they constitute as their community, family, friends, whatever, what have you. And with the influence of there being friendship, this is how you will find out in the past that your misfortune will be based off of how a person views you, whether a person views you as a friend or not. All right, let's shift over to this Kipper deck real quick. Yeah, because it's a lot of stuff that's kind of coming into place with this. Some of the other things, how one's creativity is based off of someone else, how they're not natural, how a person wouldn't be naturally creative. That's part of the whole vampirism portion. Overall, okay, the institutionalization makes sense now because in this Kipper deck is where it's coming out. And the overall essence of being locked up, locked in, um, imprisoned. And what does imprisonment mean to, within, for you? You could, in short, how one can think themselves into a damn heartache. How you could think yourself into anxiety. That's that portion. The other part of it is, yeah, the animal. I'm really getting a lot of this is animal messages or primal. One's primal instincts that'll come into place with things. All right. In regards to lovers, marriage, mature woman, main male, occupation. All these came in the upright. How a person would want to get married when they locked up. If we're gonna be okay, within being locked up, the sounds off of loyalty. Okay, so it's that part. So some of this other stuff is gonna be about when you love a person, the love that comes into place with marrying or being commitment, having a commitment with the older with the mature woman and being the main male in work. The main person that a person is working with. I'm hearing working with or working on. Okay, well, yeah, because I ain't finna lie. One of the things that's kind of striking me is that this mature woman and this main male, okay, in the visions deck, it's either in the visions deck or it's either in the Tarot of Dreams or in the Gilded Tarot, right? Is switched from what traditionally would take place because it's a younger man and it's an older woman. I'm hearing there's something about blood being blood binding. And this card came out beforehand within this whole occupation. Clear yourself. Ask the angels to release any toxic energies that you may have absorbed, any toxic essences that you may have absorbed. That's the angel guidance. You gotta clear yourself out. However that would be or whatever that would mean. Archangel Michael. I'm hearing Uriel, Jophiel, and Ravenous, and the Dark Zodiac, right? Yeah, because it'll be talking about justice and all this other shit. It is that'll come into place within one being in prison. What's behind them is the message, right? The message that comes into place with, and cut your cords in regards to lovers, marriage, mature woman, or the commitment with the mature woman. It'll be about cutting cords down a rabbit hole, right? Again, this is past shit, y'all. Ask Archangel Raphael. Ask Archangel Michael. So here's the deal. Archangel Michael then showed up twice. And the overall essence of is Archangel Raphael. So basically, Archangel Raphael, he coming to holler at you in regards to the past shit, within one being misfortune. You got to cut your cords from this whole ideal set of the marrying the mature woman, so to speak. With ask Archangel Michael to clear any old attachments to fear that stem from past relationships, freeing you from the destructive pattern. Archangel Michael in regards to the main male, right? He fell right on top of the main male. You are working very closely with this powerful archangel who's protecting and guiding you through this situation. Clear yourself. Ask the angels to release any toxic essences that you may have absorbed. And Archangel Raphael, the healing angel, is with you, supporting your healing work. Okay? And Ascended Masters is what is right under that. Powerful, loving, and wise spiritual teachers are watching and guiding over you. The irony that comes into place with Ascended Masters, in this light, it would have been the people who would have passed away, the old Ascended Masters. What does it mean to be an Ascended Master? Okay? Yeah, in short, paying attention to the old teachings, shit it is that you already know, things it is that you already, that would have helped you ascend. The things it is that would have taken place that would have helped with ascension. Yeah, because a lot of it that is given is how a person will hold on to something. Going back to that whole prodigal son down the rabbit hole again, he wasn't exiled. He was removed, or yeah, he just left. He left. He was able to leave and come back freely. When you're in exile, you get put out of that space. Now, the other portion of it that we don't talk about with the prodigal son, and I'm thinking that's what needs to be reviewed in the whole past portion. The son that stayed didn't get shit. But the one that left got everything because people wanted him, because the dad wanted him to stay. That's an emotional situation that would be going on. in regards to that. And what it gives is, okay, so we got some fast movement. We got some fast movement coming into place, and what it is that would have been nurtured. Because what's nurtured is that if you leave, you come back, you get more. Opposed to if you stay, you don't get. Yeah, you stay and you're diligent, and sure, due diligence isn't rewarded. Doing what you're supposed to do isn't rewarded. Obedience isn't rewarded. This is a part of the past situations that will go on in a situation. Now let's go ahead and clear this shit out real quick with this White Sage Tarot. See what it is that will be going on. Some of the other stuff, yeah, with this whole Capricorn essence, with us talking about the angels, you need to look up the angels that will be associated with a mutable sign, which is Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini. Look at the mutable, look up the angels for those. Part 1, because I'm not about to do it for you. I have it on my page. You are more than welcome to look on my YouTube and find the information. I have a lot of posts. It's there already. The other portion of it is the purpose in understanding the darker aspects or the shadow aspects is was being highlighted in this. Right? Yeah, because it would give that the shadow aspect is what stayed, and the angelic aspect is what left. That's gonna be about the competition that you have, that one will have inside themselves, with the competitions that will come into place with your ego and your super ego, and when your super ego has to check your ego. And the only way that you'll be able to really ignite yourself would be based out of what you portray as knowledge from the super ego through the ego. That's why I said you need to really pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, to what your super ego is and what your ego is, what drives your ego. Okay? So, you need to look at different structures, foundations, and the season. What would have been out of season? Out of season, out of seasoning. So it's that part. I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, because what I'm getting from it is it's a lot of stuff that would have taken place. Yep, with them would be clearing out is one not waiting. One not waiting, 3 candles being burned. One not waiting and not being the world that one would have created and then embarked upon. And one not having the intelligence of what inspires an individual. What inspires someone would do. And then this Page of Pentacles. In the alchemicalization, it'll be about waiting for the small offer of stability so one could expand. Now, at glance, within this whole cutting cords aspect, it'll be about one not waiting for a small offer of stability in regards to the cutting the cords. And then it will be this Archangel Michael with one not expanding. That will be clearing out. Hierophant. Yep, not acknowledging the transcendental spiritual truth. What it is that happens when you're dealing with older people, with an older man, and the tradition of one not holding on. That's the mutable madness that comes into place with a lot of shit. Yeah, because it's one of those, when you will hold it, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. It's part of it. The other part of it is for some shit, things that would have taken place 3-4 years ago. In short, within one not offering a small offer of stability and Yeah, not being short Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn is coming out, so I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Not being a short Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, and within the whole cutting of the cords, it would be due to one not offering a small offer of stability, one not stabilizing a person, one not remembering to stabilize someone, to offer stability. The irony that comes into place with that whole prodigal son, prodigal daughter situation, everything got given to the one that left. Nothing was given to the one that stayed. That's something that's reiterated a lot, or it's coming up a whole lot in this whole past portion. You know why it is? Because so many people have capitalized in capitalism, have capitalized off of a motherfucker staying around them. It's one of those, I'm taking care of you. I'm taking care of you. Yeah, the whole that should be enough. Or the I'm going to take care of you. And that the promise, how the promise would never be fulfilled. That happens when, I was just going to say, unfortunately, that happens a lot when people pillow talk. Pillow talking. That'll be what that's about. The sun, Leo, recognition, enlightenment, happiness, and the enlightenment of one being protected in regards to one not being able to act on their inspiration, and one not being a king of wands. Not having that, I was just going to say, not having that action. Not having that action, not being about that action. Not working, and the codependence that comes when a person isn't working. Let me go ahead and say this. Yeah, you can't demand that in regards to like whole past situation. You can't demand that a person is codependent on you or depends on you when they're not working, when you're not going to provide them with what it is that they need. Yeah, it's not an expansion, it's just an exchange of the same shit. One not being disappointed in the boundaries that come within one not being disappointed in the boundaries that come within this fast moving essence, Cancer, Chariot, essence, and there being a paycheck. Paycheck inheritances over the next 10 years, having all of the things, right? One of the things that was happening, right? Yeah, when I was walking around in the awareness of everything, if you don't even know what the person likes, or if you like different things, that's one of them. The other portion of it that comes into place, this happened a whole lot. This must be about, because typically whenever this comes up, yeah, it's a parody of which one is more in need, who could take care of themselves better than the other one. That's her. Go ahead and say what you have to. Okay, so what is given is in the situation, a person being married to someone when they're in jail, and a person that they're married to in jail has everything. But instead of them going to the person and where everything is had, yeah, they're intentionally staying away from that person. In regards to those commitments, why would you commit to that person? It doesn't make sense to commit to a person like that. They can't do nothing for you, and they don't want to. I just heard that's a very childish ideal set to have. That is an extremely childish ideal set to have. To hold on to some shit because you would have been in jail and now all of a sudden you want to get married. Unfortunately, yeah, because that's not entering into the marriage for love. That's entering the marriage for business. You motherfuckers don't ever want to get married or commit or nothing until you locked up and you feel like you need that other person to do some shit for you. So that's the biggest problem that you motherfuckers finna have. It is. If a person would be asking for help and assistance and all this other shit and you was ignoring their ass before you went into jail, your ass should ignore their ass when you out. Yeah, I heard you dealt with that before. I have dealt with that before. I've dealt with that before a whole lot. I was the first motherfucker that a person, and then down the rabbit hole there being expansion. And how but down the rabbit hole, yes, I have dealt with that before. And the reality of it is, it's a disgrace, and it shows that you don't really think that much of a fucking person. You wouldn't do shit right by them before you got locked up, but the moment you get locked up, now all of a sudden you want to do everything right. And when you get out, now this is going to be the biggest portion of it, what it was that would have taken place when you got out. Because some of you motherfuckers owe some people some apologies. Because that institutionalization bullshit that y'all like to succumb to, you're stifling your spiritual growth. You are. Because ain't nobody supposed to be committed to your ass if you didn't give a fuck about their ass beforehand. Now, if you gave a fuck about them beforehand and they felt like they didn't want to be by you, then you supposed to count that shit as a blessing because you don't need them type of people in your fucking life to begin with. Because I'll say this much. When I got locked up, when nobody around. And I had to pay back what was utilized for me to get bond. I had to pay my shit back. Opposed to a motherfucker just waiting until I had my own shit and them just bonding me out with my own shit. Her go ahead say what you have to. If my shit would have been utilized, it would have been me helping me. But with it being somebody else, yeah, the severity of the situation, it wouldn't necessarily only be about the severity of the situation, y'all. It's about when it's all said and done, if I have it to get me out, then you should use what I have or what that person has to get them out. If that's not going to sustain, that's something completely different. But if you had it and you just didn't want to share it, or you have it and you didn't want to give it, then you just don't want to fucking give it. You can't get mad at a person because they don't want to help you in that regard. You just let them do what they got to do. But, like I said, when I was in jail, and I had to deal with a whole bunch of shit in that time frame, right? I got locked up, and even in that regard, I turned myself in because it was for driving traffic tickets, okay? I turned myself in so I can go ahead and, for lack of a better phrasing, walk down the time, right? Now, when it came time for me to get out, somebody else put their money up so that I could get out, but it was the equivalent of the money it is that I already had coming in. And just to say that it was done that way, right? I heard that's a manipulation. That's a huge manipulation. Huge fucking manipulation. Because it wanted to be made to be that person helped me, when the reality is I had it to help myself. So it's that part. And I'll be honest with you, motherfuckers don't give a fuck about your ass as soon as you get locked up. You should know that before you do some of the shit it is you do. I was talking about that. I'll go ahead and get out here. But I was talking about that. You know that you're dealing with some scary motherfuckers or some people who not really about that action. So why in the fuck would you surround yourself with people who are like that? Part one. Part two, why would you even entertain them? Because you entertaining them is you playing a game with your damn self. You're not adhering to your own boundaries. You know scary motherfuckers don't want to go to jail. Or don't want to go to jail. You know scary motherfuckers gonna call the police. So within you knowing scary motherfuckers will call the police, you as a person have to make good choices to get out of varying situations so that the police can't even be fucking called on you. So that you could be put in jail or on probation. And don't even get me started in the amendments aspect. Because you'll get a lot of people who are really provocative, who will say a lot of shit to you that'll get you put not only in regular jail, but in spiritual jail. And when a person is put in spiritual jail and they're innocent. it's about being caught up. It would be about being caught up. Okay, I'm hearing some apologies. But okay, I don't know what that's about. And that card flew over. Oh yeah, the mutable madness, the misfortune that'll come into place. So, as a summarization, in the rebirth of everything, pay attention to what you want to be reborn, because what you don't want to be reborn is that a motherfucker has to be put in in a fucked up, be imprisoned, and being committed, being a lover that's committed to someone, and their emotions being emotionally intelligent, and their doing being on point in regards to whatever what the work is that will come into place. Yeah, and sure, a lot of y'all going down that path toward imprisonment and what it is to be in prison and how imprisonment looks different. Yeah, one of the things it was that I did here on one of the last readings it was I watched is how a person would have preferred for a person to be locked up or in some fucked up shit. I heard, go ahead and say what you have to. I talk the same shit that now that I said beforehand. So whether shit would have gone on, you can only succumb to the imprisonment if that's what a person will have you do, and if they have a lot of people participating in it. That in itself is an imprisonment. And being in exile is another form of imprisonment. And it's one of those you can't go back to where you were. So you have to build certain relationships with people in that particular space. Yeah, that's that part. And then the other portion of it is when one would have been, what would have constituted is a person wanting to marry a person who got locks. I don't call them dreadlocks. Y'all be pissing me off. Yeah, it's a lot of people who piss me off with that when they call them dreadlocks, because they were only constituted as dreadful based out of the fact that motherfuckers, once they used to see a person with locks, they get that ass handed to them in battle. That's that part. The other portion of it, that will come into place with it is how a person wouldn't like the way you wear your hair. In short, a motherfucker who's so damn controlling in regards to they don't even want you to look like your own damn person. You should be able to have individualization of it. Now, oh goodness. Me personally, yeah, because that was part of the issue that came into place with the whole twin flame situation. Everybody was trying to match up the appearance of one being darker, the other being light. Yeah, like one black, one white, one dark skin, one light skin, one African. When it's all said and done, what actually was happening, right, was you were getting one person who would have had a lot of knowledge, or not one person, what was happening a lot, especially when it was revealed that it was black people that was involved in it, right? It was a lot of people, they all considered it was like more so demons and daemons. Daemons. You need to know the difference between the two of them. Because I ain't even gonna lie, when you sit and even do demonology, most of them don't want you to fuck with them. They really don't. They don't want shit to do with y'all asses, but y'all keep fucking with people. No, I just be getting frustrated, period. It's like, why is you gonna fuck with that damn thing? It wasn't doing shit to you. It wasn't doing shit to you. It was minding its own damn business, and then you get mad with what it is that you get out of it. Or don't get out of it. Because it will be out of alignment with what it is that you're really asking for. And how a person would have been so obsessed. Yeah, down a rabbit hole, it would have been about obsessions. I'm going to go ahead and say this too. I did a whole series on this. and nobody picked up on it. That be what kind of frustrates me with a lot of shit. People have a tendency to be obsessed after doing a love spell and have obsessive behavior after love spells, because you don't know what the depths of a person's love is, and you may not have had, a lot of times you motherfuckers wouldn't have had conversations with the actual person. And who you surround yourself with and what you are looking to or towards will determine a whole lot more about you and who you are as a person. I'll go ahead and close out with this story, and I'm hoping that it helps you guys out. I really do. Any person that intentionally invokes and provokes behaviors so that you can be incarcerated or imprisoned in any form, and I'm not talking about the hair, right? I'm talking about the actual physical, structural confinement. When you deal with individuals like that, that is going to be very problematic for you, primarily because it's you betraying yourself. You can't claim that you like freedom or freedoms and all this other shit, and then you turn around and you do things that will get your ass locked up. Okay, so I hope that helps y'all out. I really do. I hope that helps you out. Now, if you're talking about the hair aspect, it'll be in regards to your hair being antennas, right? It collects information. You gotta learn how to clear out the information that is coming into your hair. And fuck it, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Who got one of your locks? I'm gonna go ahead and say it because it's coming out. Who got your actual hair? Because it's a lot of work that can be done in spell work with a person's fucking hair. And some of these motherfuckers like to pride themselves on being able to sneak that shit off and do shit to you. I know because I've been there, I've done it. Alright. So hopefully it helps you guys out just a little bit with some of the past situations it is, so that you can get over them and just let that shit go. Gain understanding. But yeah, I'm hoping it helps you guys out just a little bit. Gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on as far as the clearing out. And that way, right? Because light work ain't light work. Understanding what's going on in your shadows, owning your shadow it is not light work. It's not light work. Alright? And that's why you have to stay light while you work.